Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conscious Conversations. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So I am the founder of the Transformation Center, which is based in Westport, Connecticut. And at the center, in addition to the individual shamanic healing sessions and transformation coaching sessions that I do, I also love to host other people, other practitioners, so you can learn from them and see what they have to offer. So all of the information is on our website. You can check it out, which is just Transformation Center CT. And there's a calendar there with events you can register for. Every month we have a shamanic clinic on Zoom. So wherever you are in the world watching this, you can tune in on the second Tuesday of every month. And I'd love to see you for that. So thanks for being here for the Conscious Conversations. I love talking to new people and finding out what they're up to, who they are. And then you can find out, what's in it for you, because we're all about really helping you discover who you truly are and let go of who you're not. So I'm very excited that tonight my guest is Nancy Volante. Hey, Nancy.
Hey, Katie. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see you. It's been a while.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're up to a lot of new things, but I can't wait to find out about.
Transformation.
That's right.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to just read a little bit about you before we get started so our audience can get to know you. And we're going to show your slide, which has all your contact information. So Nancy is an intuitive astrologer. She's a certified wellness coach, and she's the founder of the Whispering Soul. I love the way that sounds. Yeah, I want to hear more about that too. Where you can explore the rhythms of nature, the movement of the cosmos, and the quiet unfolding of who you really are and who you're becoming.
We're all becoming, aren't we?
Yes, we're in a constant state of becoming. I love the way you phrase that.
Sometimes whether we like it or not, we're becoming.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, that's true. That's true. Or whether we're aware of it or not, too.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so I want to hear about the origins of the Whispering Soul. But before we do that, let's back up. And I'm curious, how did you get interested in what you're doing in the first place?
So, Katie, it's been a journey, right? It's been a long journey. It started when I was 16.
Wow.
And it started at a kitchen table with my mother and her best friend, Lois. And Lois was an astrologer.
Okay.
And, back then, astrologers just weren't out and about in the community.
That's true.
So she was doing her astrology. I don't know who her clients were, but I just know sitting at the table while they were drinking tea, there would be papers all over. And I was just fascinated with watching her draw these symbols and lines and circles. And I would stay there for hours and just watch and hear them talking and just fascinated, not knowing what it was, where it was going. And I do remember Lois giving me a book. And she gave me a book, and it was an old astrology book. And unfortunately, with all the moves, I cannot find that book. But I will tell you that there was one thing that was underlined in that book, and that was Saturn in Sagittarius. And I bring that up. I've never brought that up before, but I'm going to bring it up today as Saturn is our timekeeper. And, for space and time and for how we travel through our journeys. And Sagittarius, for me, is my rising sign. So that's why I bring it up. So what I underlined, and this is why I love the Whispering Soul and the word embodiment, is it said Saturn in Sagittarius has a strength to keep going in the body. So from that point on, I was always about the body first.
Okay. So how does that translate into
what I'm doing now?
What you're doing now, yes.
So that's when the journey began. So I was a professional dancer for 15 years in Boston, L.A., and New York.
Oh, you're kidding.
So with that, also a theater artist. I was an improvisational actor. So I brought those two things together. I did the performing, I did a lot of teaching, and became a teaching artist in New York. And I worked with many different communities which is I love building community. That's like my foundation. And communities from all over the world. And, from children that didn't have a lot, but they had a soul, and they wanted to express that. So I did a good 10 years of that too, and working with children with autism and different disabilities or different, I'm going to say that differently, different ways of learning through their mind, body, and soul. So that really got me on the path. But during all that, I studied astrology.
So it never left.
It never left. Yeah.
What you really were interested in.
Yes.
Was your mother also interested in it? Obviously, if Lois was there.
Yeah, my mother was not.
Huh.
No. I think my mother was very intuitive, very creative, but it wasn't her thing. But she was very open and loved Lois. So she'd just sit there. She loved her tea and drank her tea and just listened.
Just like you did. Even though you said you didn't really understand it at the time.
No.
But you must have absorbed quite a bit.
Yeah.
If it was still in your consciousness all along.
Yeah, and I love that, how you say that, Katie. Absorbed in your consciousness, because you don't know, because I never thought of myself as an astrologer until probably saying that out in public about 10 years ago, because it's a language. And I, because of that Saturn in Sagittarius, and I don't want to get too astrologically with that, it's a language, and it's a late bloomer.
Oh.
So I had to go through a lot of learning, a lot of absorbing knowledge and understanding the language of astrology in a very different way, in a very different time.
So then you felt comfortable at some stage. What was it that changed there?
I think when I also had a studio, yoga studio in Ridgefield, Connecticut. It was first called Imagine Yoga, and then I rebranded to Imagine Wellness because we had other modalities of healing, and I really incorporated the astrology. So it was having that brick and mortar and that support system and building community that I said to myself, and of studying, I'm still studying. I still have a teacher. But I felt it was time to put it out there.
Yeah.
So I hung my little, name out there, plaque or whatever that's called when you hang it on your business. Yeah. And I did it. And, I wasn't comfortable at first, how do people embrace the unknown? How do I embrace the unknown? How do people embrace a very ancient healing modality and language that's been with us for thousands of years?
Yeah.
So I wanted to, because I'm that kind of a person, I had to really embody my journey.
Right. That makes sense. Totally. Yeah. It was like your soul knew, but it still needed that, like, anchor, maybe?
Yeah, anchor, yes.
That's what it feels like to me. That
I love that.
Yeah.
And you touch your heart, the anchoring of the heart.
Yeah.
You can anchor your mind, but where is that authentic? I mean, it is in a sense, because it has to filter down, but I feel like it's got to really, just like you touched your heart, filter through the heart.
Well, sometimes our mind gets in the way.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, me too. 100%.
And if we follow our heart and listen to our heart, that's really what's going to get us to fulfill our purpose.
Yeah.
I believe that.
I believe that too.
Yeah.
And we certainly all have a purpose, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Small or large.
Right. And that's what I was meaning when I said, discover, rediscover, remember who we truly are. Yeah. And all of the stuff that we've been told and learned and, all these belief systems that have come our way, realizing that that's not who we are. Yeah. So this is one way of doing it, it feels like.
That's so beautifully said, because it is a lot to sift through, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that the birth chart is the map of that. And, what anybody does, any healing modality becomes a map to sift through. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a living experience, of one layer after another. I mean, I look at my chart now, and I've looked at it for over 25 years, and something new every day, because it's living. because you're talking to the cosmos.
So tell me a little bit more about that. How does that work?
You know, I mean, you come in with the birth chart. That never changes.
Because your birth was a fixed time in space.
Fixed time in space. So it's like a snapshot of what your soul contract was, what you want to do in this lifetime, what you need to let go of, what you need to remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then on top of that, the universe is moving every minute of the day. The moon is moving. The sun is moving. The personal planets, the outer planets, they're moving and they're talking to you in a sacred geometric way, right? So they're having a conversation with you all the time, wherever that is in your chart, what the house is, what the archetype, the zodiac sign is, what the planet is. So it becomes a language, a conscious, love that, conversation. And it's alive, and it changes all the time. Now, the big thing is that the planets don't do anything to us. I don't predict. Mm-hmm. But what they do is they guide.
Okay.
And it's our choice whether we want to do that. You know, it's free will.
Yeah, right. It's not like your destiny is fixed because of the planets or something.
It's not.
Like that. Yeah.
You do have a destiny, but you are in control of it and empowered with it or not. You know, and either way, I do believe that you learn.
Yeah, yeah. So it feels like what you're saying is what's happening in the universe is like sending messages to us at different times in our lives.
Exactly.
About what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can choose to tune in or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to grapple with this. So if we're not tuned in, things are going to move anyway, kind of without us, without our awareness.
Absolutely. So then because we live in duality, Katie, it's like, okay, if we don't consciously get what we can at that moment and we get it at a different level, that's still a learning process. Yeah. And we do have to go from, you know, the lower version to the higher version. You know, that's the medicine. You know, whether, and you know that as a beautiful practitioner and healer too, right? We start off with what is the medicine that we need to know and really need to heal. It's not pretty. Sometimes it's messy. But it can turn into something alchemized, right? Gold within us. So I think we just have choices along the way. And the universe doesn't give up.
No.
Doesn't give up on us. No. Don't you agree with that?
I totally agree. And I believe that the universe wants us to be the best that we can be, whether you use the word happy or fulfilled or you know, serving your purpose, however you want to characterize it. I think the universe is our ally, is our go-to partner.
Yes, I love that, go-to partner. Because it is a partner because, you know, it's a dance. It's a cosmic dance. So as the micro, we are dancing with our inner fluidity, our resistance, our tension, our inspiration, and the macro has the same, right? You know, there's falling stars, there's there's a lot going on up there that's always like doing something. Either colliding or expanding, contracting. It's the same with our bodies. And that's why with astrology, I'm about the body as a dancer, as a yoga teacher. So I try to learn that from the body, from the inside out, like a lot of healers and practitioners with body work too.
Yeah, right. Well, the body has a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
We can learn so much if we listen to it rather than thinking that we can control it or we have to do this or that. It's more about what is it telling us?
Yeah.
You know?
Listening and what is it telling us? That's not always easy. Like I've missed the mark a few times, you know, in the many few decades that I've been doing this healing work, you know. And it also started out with shamanism, my path, before it really got entrenched or not entrenched, hugged by astrology. I'm going to say I wanted to change that language. That's my exploring lately.
Yeah.
But shamanism. I lived at an alternative healing center in Woodstock, which was Native American.
Oh.
So I got to learn from some really special shamans.
Yeah.
Red Hawk and Beautiful Painted Arrow many years ago. And it was like in my 20s, Katie. I didn't know if I really got it completely. I certainly felt it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my nervous system wasn't ready,
Well, that could be because it is, it's all experiential.
Yes.
It's not about, knowledge or head learning. To me, it's more about experiencing it. But that's to me, that's really any healing modality.
You're absolutely right.
You can talk about it, but it doesn't really do what, talking is helpful sometimes, but it's really feeling it and, like you're saying, embodying it and getting it in a way that's like when we say visceral, that's kind of literal.
Yeah.
You think about it, isn't it?
Yeah, I love that word, visceral. It's not always easy, is it?
You know what I think it is? Maybe it's not easy, but it takes practice. And I think that we're not accustomed to that as humans in this point in the world and the time and our culture.
Wow, that's so important. I love that. Practice.
Because we've gotten away from that. We don't trust ourselves as much as we once did, or the shamanic culture does still.
Yeah.
They get it. They do. And it's ancient. But I think we've removed ourselves in a way out of the equation. So we go to doctors, MDs, to tell us what's wrong with us. Quote, wrong with us. Well, I believe nothing's wrong.
Right.
There's things that need to be addressed.
Yes.
Certainly. And I'm not saying doctors are useless because I don't think they are. But they're not everything.
Right. It's not the totality of wholeness.
Yeah, and I talk to a lot of my clients who look for more holistic ways of healing, and they're out there. A lot of the guests I have on my show, that's what they're about.
Yeah.
It's about alternative ways of either healing or being.
Exactly.
Right?
And I think it's going to get more and more that way, just to throw in a little bit of astrology with Pluto and Aquarius.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So, Pluto is the planet of destruction and construction and alchemizing. So it's like the old thing of tilling the soil of what no longer gives nourishment, but not throwing everything away, using that to alchemize to a higher consciousness. So that's Pluto.
Cool.
That creative, spiritual energy. But, it comes from the darkness, the depth of who we are, who the planet is, because that's how a seed grows.
Okay.
Right? So planting that seed, it has to get through the shell first. And that shell is what can hold us back. And Pluto says you got to just break through that. So it's a journey. It's a slow journey with Pluto. And now Pluto has transited into Aquarius. Was in Capricorn for years, 2008 to just 2024. Now it'll be in Aquarius from 2025 to 2044.
Okay.
So Aquarius is different than Capricorn. Capricorn is earthy, needs to break up structure, business, government, all that stuff that we're kind of seeing, and also internally. But the Pluto in Aquarius, and the reason why I bring it up, because you were talking so beautifully about different modalities of healing, and Aquarius is about that. It's air, it's social, it's invention, innovation, vibration, the nervous system.
Okay, so now that Pluto's in Aquarius, what does that mean for us?
So it means for us, technology is going to really come online. So I think as humans, we have to be careful. A big talk is AI, right? How do we work with AI? How do we work with technology that is not going to take away our creativity and humanness, but to bring in collaboration with Aquarius technology?
Okay.
And also Aquarius is about the truth, authenticity, within new invention, new innovation creatively. So it is about the human condition. It's about humanitarian. How do we build? It's no more top down, but ground up.
Well, that would be nice.
Yeah.
It's coming, right?
It's coming. And it's a slow process because you have to get through what has already been established, right? It's that Pluto taking it apart in order to put it back together again in a new way.
Well, that's interesting. That kind of resonates because I've always been thinking, or at least recently, that it's almost as if things have to get really, I don't even like the word bad, but really difficult, challenging before they can start to get better.
Yeah.
And,
there's truth to that.
It feels like it's hard, but it feels also like it's something that is a natural cycle almost that we need to go through on Earth right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. And even if we take that down to something so personal, just what you're saying, it can be complicated and difficult, change, right? Even if, I don't like my job anymore and I really have to change, but that means I have to change my routine. It means I have to change what I do. And I don't really know, is it going to work? So on a personal level, that's happening. And then as you're talking about on a collective level, those are big things. But without that, how do we get to, and I say this for myself too, because I also feel that way sometimes, how do we get to a higher consciousness?
How do we grow?
How do we grow? What's our potential?
And evolve.
Yeah,
no, it's not a linear process either.
Pretty zigzaggy.
Yeah. Wow. So are there some signs that are more conducive to having like you mentioned, change is difficult for most humans, just in general, as a generality. Are there certain signs that embrace change more than others?
I love that question. That is such a great question, and it has a really mixed, it's a mixed bag. But, like, you're talking about astrology, right?
Yeah.
Through that
like sun signs or...
Yeah. So I think Aquarius is about change.
Okay. Yeah.
Very much so. For instance, like Virgo wouldn't be about change, would be about, I just want to... Status quo, Pisces would be about change, but it would have a sense of, I'm not clear yet.
More fluid.
Absolutely. Uranus is going to change with a bang.
Oh, okay.
With a big breakthrough.
Okay.
Like Jupiter, wants change. It wants to support you because it's expansive. It's abundant. It wants wisdom and truth. But say that it's in Taurus, Jupiter in Taurus. Taurus is going to say, wait a minute.
Not so fast.
Not so fast. You got it. Not so fast. I need to feel my feet. I'm a little bit stubborn. I'm going to dig in. So they have to do a dance, and it's a great dance. The cha-cha, maybe I say, the tango. I correlate it with dance.
With your dance background. Yeah, I love it.
But, two opposites like that, when they, so to speak, collide, it can really make something happen where you find a space to do that.
Right. It's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
Which I like to look at things as opportunities.
Yes.
That, because you can't really predict any of this, right?
No, because... And what I'm learning too, Katie, prediction, you can say, I think that, this is a cycle, this is trending. But as soon as you predict, if the collective consciousness makes a choice, it changes everything. It changes the timeline. And I know that's a little bit esoteric, but it's true.
It's interesting. Yeah.
We can change, the universe says, we want you to be empowered.
Right. And I do believe, this is a free will universe.
Yeah.
That's for sure, because I've studied like some of the universal laws.
Beautiful.
There's a lot there, and I think it would benefit anybody to really get in sync with them because they're there whether we are aware or acknowledge it or not.
Yeah.
So I think,
That's so beautiful.
astrology is similar in that regard, it feels like.
It is. It is because take for Aquarius. Aquarius is about universal law.
Okay.
Capricorn is about, I want to do it. I need goals. I want status. And I'm talking, that's not on a really high level.
Right,
Capricorn
that's
is like
general.
really mature and wise when it goes through that, All the planets are. I mean, all the archetypes are.
Yeah. So what would you say is like maybe the top couple of benefits that somebody would receive when working with somebody like you or an astrologer for themselves?
The thing that comes always to me first and foremost is looking at your strengths and your weaknesses, and how do they come together again with that medicine? Mm-hmm. Because weaknesses are a medicine to understand where we can travel to. So I start there. I often work with people with trauma. We all have trauma, whether it's small or big. We have it. That's another nugget of information to be able to work with.
Okay.
And come into consciousness.
Okay. So you use the astrology to address the trauma?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's more, when we address trauma, and we go through those feelings through the body and we understand, we start to witness ourselves. Mm-hmm. So we become the witness. So maybe we don't get triggered as much.
Yeah.
Maybe we can respond more. So that's a big part of it, is how do we align with our soul self and our witness self? Mm-hmm. So, we're not always going off. And we will, but when we become more conscious, we can reel it in a little bit more, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, because when you get triggered, there's always something that's older inside of you. Because that, to me, that's the definition of triggers. Something's
Absolutely.
Triggered. So once you realize that, right? It's like the past is the past.
Yeah.
So what's happening right now?
Yeah. The present. So I think that alignment, in my perspective, is a practice, as you said before, which I love, is that practice of coming back to center, wherever center is for somebody. Yeah. And at the moment, I think center changes wherever our consciousness is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's I'm wondering too. I'm always I ask that question because it's different for me. My consciousness and alignment is different now than it was last year.
Well, no, that's true.
Right?
I think that's very true because, we change, and when we change, our consciousness is at a different level for sure.
Yeah.
And everything around us changes too. It's so interesting how we see things differently depending on where we are, who we are, all of that.
That lens, that takes me to the moon in our chart.
Okay.
So the moon, our emotional landscape, our habits, how we were brought up, what is our belief systems? How do we manage that in the public? How do we manage that internally?
Yeah.
So the moon is really important.
There's a lot to learn from the moon too, our moon signs. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're just about ready to wrap up. So what else did I not ask you that you'd like to share today? Wow. Is there anything for our audience?
You asked such beautiful questions. I'm not sure, other than I'm really appreciative to have a conversation, always about consciousness, healing, mindfulness. I am on that path. I'm always learning. Sometimes I'll say I know nothing, but I learn every day.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful. I wish that for all of us, Nancy.
Well, I wish it for me too. I have to always practice.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. And we'll put up your slide one more time before we wrap up, and that way, people can contact you directly, ask you any questions.
Thank you, and thank you, Katie. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed speaking with you.
Yeah, me too. It was great conversation. And thank you to our audience for being here today, and also thank you to Verso Studios. We love you guys at the Westport Library, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, and namaste.